What's up, listeners? Welcome back to the Burning Bug channel. Today I'm going to be doing my Premier League predictions. I'm going to first off start by saying sorry if the audio is a bit weird. I'm using a microphone just to cut any background noise. However, this microphone isn't great, so just to say that to start with. Second, you might see me look down occasionally. That would be me looking at my phone. That is purely because I need to check transfers on my phone because I don't know all the transfers for all the teams off the top of my head. Certain teams I know more transfers than others. Without further ado, let's start with the relegation zone. Bournemouth. It's just because obviously it's really easy just to go with the newly promoted teams, which is also why Fulham are going to be joining them. Neither of them, in my opinion, have strengthened enough. Obviously, Fulham have lost Carvalho to Liverpool. But both of them have made signings. I think Fulham have made signings. I haven't actually checked Fulham, to be honest. I kind of just put them there. But they are both realistically going to go down. They don't really stand a chance. You can't. I suppose Fulham have signed a Babu apparently. Didn't know that. Andres Pereira, Nico Williams. They've signed more players than I thought they had. No, I'm still going to keep them there, though, to be fair. They are going to be joined by none other than Everton. I just don't think Everton have strengthened enough. They've lost with Charlton to Spurs, my team. But I just do not think they haven't really replaced him. They've got Dwight McNeil and I can't remember who's the other signing they made. The other decent one. Let me quickly check it. Actually, you can tell this is uncut because I can't be bothered to edit it. James Tarkowski. Obviously, he's solid centre back. But yeah, I just can't see them staying up myself. I'm gonna follow it with Leeds. Leeds again lost two key players in their team, in Calvin Phillips to Man City and obviously Rafinha to Barcelona. They have made quite a few signings, but they're all relatively, we'll say middle ground names because I wouldn't have said some of the players they were bad players, but they also probably aren't the best players. And obviously you have no idea how well they're all going to combine together to make a team. That Leeds could end up being mid-table, they could be bottom half, I do not know. I'm sticking them there because of that pure reason that they lost two of their key players and they're in a relegation fight last season. So yeah, they're going to go there. They're going to be joined in the bottom half, when I can put them in the right place, by Nottingham Forest. Because Nottingham Forest have gone on a mad shopping spree. I couldn't really name you any of the players off the top of my head. Let's have a quick look. I'll name you a few of the signings. You've got Nico Williams from Liverpool, Aurel Mangala from Stuttgart, Jesse Lingard, Harry Toffolo, Lewis O'Brien, Wayne Hennessy, Omar Richards, Nikate from Mainz, Henderson from United, obviously. I'll stop there because otherwise I'm just going to keep going. I also tried. I'm fairly certain I said Nico Williams for Fulham. I must have read a January transfer there because I must admit I wasn't really looking. Yeah, it was February, so ignore that one. He doesn't play for Fulham, but either way, they're still saying where they are. But yeah, for the Forest have spent quite a lot of actually some solid players, so I'm putting them to stay up. Whether I trust them to stay up or not, I don't know. But obviously, as you can see now, I've put Brighton in. Brighton again, haven't really done a lot, have they? They finished 9th last season, so it does feel a bit of a jump to then go, yeah, you're going to finish 15th this season. But they haven't really signed anyone. They've signed that striker. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. And then they've just signed a few forwards, really. They haven't really done a lot. Granted, they haven't lost anyone. At the time of recording, which is on the 2nd of August, which is the Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? I don't know. I've lost track of the days already. Tuesday. It is a Tuesday. Tuesday the 2nd of August. They still haven't lost Mark Cucurella at this point, and it does sound like that deal isn't going to happen, though obviously I do not know. And as you can probably tell from the fact I've said I'm Googling transfers, I'm not Googling anything to do with their possible transfers. We're just going to go with actual done transfers. So Um, 14th now, Southampton. They're just one of those sides that never seems to really kick on. Like, I think I don't really know really. I think 14th is about right for Southampton. Like again, signing wise, they signed that midfielder off Rangers, Aribo. But like other than that, like they haven't really done a lot. Like they signed some other players that again I haven't heard of. Like obviously they lost Fraser Forster to Tottenham. Like, but again they've got Willie Caballero and James McCarthy. Is it James McCarthy? McCarthy nonetheless. Alex McCarthy. Who's James McCarthy? I don't know. But well, I could even James McCarthy. Right, Alex. Anyway, they've got Alex McCarthy as well. But so they don't really need. And he said Ben Foster then. Fraser Forster. But yeah. So, but anyway, 14th. Brentford. Just because of purely Brentford, they haven't really weakened, and they haven't really strengthened, and they're a very solid side, and they're a very how do I say it? They seem very gelled and very together. So I reckon they will do quite well. 16, 15, 14, right, so 13th. So we are now going to go on to the next row, into 12th for Wolves. Again, it's just Wolves. like again, they're another side that haven't really lost anyone, but haven't really gained anyone, from what I can tell. Like, let's quickly get it up. They've got in Nathan Collins from Burnley, which is a solid centre back to join them. Obviously, sent Fabio Silva out on loan, but like other than that, like, and they've got rid of Marcal, but like other than that, like none of these signings really look alright. Outgoings like Roman signs again, decent player for them, but like not really that big of a loss based off the system they play. So like, also sorry if I just went off the screen there, I wasn't really looking. But yeah, anyway, next up, Crystal Palace. Again, it's just Crystal Palace. Again, another team that doesn't appear to have really lost anyone, but doesn't appear to have really gained anyone. I might be wrong with that. Obviously, they don't have Conor Gallagher anymore. So obviously he's gone back to Chelsea, who we'll get to a bit later on. But like again, Palace have made they've got Sam Johnson in. Obviously they've got Czech Decore, the midfielder from Lens. Like they've got the Bayern defender. But like, other than that, again, like they haven't really signed anyone. Like, and then again, they haven't really lost any like name that's that big. Like, you're not losing anyone, but you're not really gaining anyone. So I think and so I reckon they're gonna stay. Well, I say stay. I don't actually know where they finish, but I reckon they're gonna finish 11th. Leicester next. Purely for the reason I can't see them finishing ahead of any of the other teams that are left. Like I think Leicester are a good side. For me, Leicester are either finishing 11th, not 11th, 10th or 9th, possibly 8th. But again, like I just can't see them getting ahead of the teams ahead of them. Like they haven't actually, according to the source I'm looking at, they haven't signed anyone. Like literally no one. Though it does also say they haven't really got rid of anyone. So again, pretty much the same team. So we'll stick them there. Ahead of them, just ahead. Sorry, when I can put them in a place. Newcastle. It's Newcastle. Newcastle, obviously on a huge resurgence after being taken over by new Saudi owners, and then having Eddie Howe as manager. Obviously relegation battle at one point for them last season, and then ended up finishing very clear of that. Obviously signing Nick Pope from Burnley, Target from Villa, Byrne from Brighton. Like that's a solid defence there. Like obviously Target was already there from January, like cause obviously online. But like even so, they've now made his move permanent, which is good for them because like that's solid. And Sven Botman, who was sought after, well, a year or two ago by some of the bigger names like the Chelseas and I think Leicester were looking at him at one point, and that was when Leicester was still in Europe. Also, sorry if I went really quiet there because I know I just pulled the mic really far away from my face. But yeah, anyway, I think that Newcastle are going to do quite well. Like, again, not really getting rid of anyone, which seems to be a very big key thing. But obviously, this year, where the Premier League season's come around so quickly, most teams are focused on let's get players in before the season. We'll focus on the outgoings afterwards. So we could actually see it where everyone's kind of getting stuck with we can't get rid of players. Next up, Villa in 8th. Yeah, I just can't see them getting Europe, to be honest. But I think they will do quite well because again, they have made some, in my opinion, like very good signings. Like considering where they finished last season, which was bottom half, I think. I might be wrong with that, but like then they've still managed to go and get themselves Augustin from Sevilla. Yes, it's on loan, but like still decent defender. Like as a secondary left back to join the left back. Like they've got they still got Digne. I think it's not Digne. Then obviously they made Coutinho permanent just at the end of last season. Then you've got Boubacar Kamara, and then Diego Carlos again, solid centre back, and Kamara solid defensive midfielder, and like Kamara on a free as well. Can we just point out when like you have much bigger clubs looking at, like United were partially looking at him from what I heard. I'm not too sure about that. I might be wrong, but like to get him and like Diego Carlos, like I remember when Diego Carlos was said to be like the next big thing, and all of the big clubs wanted him. Like again, Chelsea wanted him, like Spurs wanted him, Arsenal wanted him, like I think United might have looked at him, whatever. But like to get him again, like solid centre back, really going to help their defence out. Like again, Robin Olsen in goal to help them in goal. Like I said, I don't know if he'll play back up to Martinez or he'll take over from Martinez, but probably play back up to Martinez. Like, but as a backup goalie, like he's played in the Prem before, and he's a decent keeper. Like yeah, looking at their team, like they look set to at least do something decent. Like, and they've still got the likes of Coutinho, McGinn, like Danny Ings, Ollie Watkins, all still with them, like from last season. Like they're all solid players. So, but yeah, I reckon Aston Villa into 8th. I talked way too long about Aston Villa there. 7th place, West Ham United. I just can't see them finishing ahead of all the other teams. Again, I don't really know who they signed. I didn't even really look at it when I put them in. I kind of just thought they're going to finish there. Obviously, they've got Skamaka, I suppose. Yeah, Skamaka, Areola. I'm now really checking dates now, so I don't say another player that signed in January. But yeah, like decent sign. Obviously, Masuaku gone. But yes, only on loan, but still gone nonetheless. They can't play him. Andrei Yarmolenko obviously left on a free. Ryan Fredericks leaving on a free. But like, if you still look at their squad, they've got Fabianski, Areola in goal with like solid defence. Yes, they probably need some more players there, but like you got the likes of Kufau and Johnson on the fullbacks with Cresswell on the other side. Then centre backs you got the like mountain that is Craig Dawson, along with Ogbonna or Zuma or whatever, like whoever you want to play, or Diop when he's fit, because he's injured at the moment. But like, and obviously that front line with Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio and Ben Rama and Fornals, Skamaka now, it's like solid. The only issue they'll have is if they have an injury in midfield, because looking at their midfield now, they've got Lanzini, Souček, Declan Rice. Obviously, one of them gets injured, you're a bit stuffed. And like bearing in mind, like you probably want two like decently defensive midfielders in your team. You then got to play Souček and Rice every single game of the season. Yes, they have they have Conference League this year, which obviously to start with isn't going to be too much of an issue for them. Obviously towards the end, they probably are going to get quite deep into that competition. Obviously Spurs failed last year, but like you'd imagine they will get further in that competition, considering what they did in the Europa League this year, or last year, should I say, because we're about to start the new season. But yeah, I reckon West Ham finishing in 7th there. Finishing in 6th, I'm going to go United. United for me could finish literally anywhere between 4th and 8th. I don't think they'll go into that mid-table slot. I think they will be somewhere in these two middle slots here. But yeah, United obviously signed Ericsson, which I'm not happy about, to be honest. But like, to be fair, like I don't know how much he's helpful to them though, to be honest. Like, because if you look at who they've got the likes of Bruno, they've got nearly said Frankie de Jong. Then they don't have him, but by the sounds of it, he's going to Chelsea. He might not. I don't know. I haven't taken that into account for my Chelsea my Chelsea prediction. But yeah, like they've got Ericsson. I can't remember who the one I'm trying to think of is. Lisandro Martinez, who's obviously defensive. I just realised I was talking about who Ericsson could. Like Ericsson has to put out of the team. What's his name? I can't remember his name. What's the Dutch guy's name? Why can I not remember the Dutch guy's name? This way you can tell it's not cut as well, if I haven't already said that. This is about my 4th take, so I don't know what I've said now. What was his name? Donny van der Beek. Of course it's Donny. But yeah, like he's got to take Donny out of the team, Bruno out of the team, because both of them play the same position as him, and they've still got the double pivot of Fred and McTominay, or McFred. Like yes, Ericsson could play that role, and Donny could probably play that role if they needed him to, but like it's not ideal really. Like, and the club is still in a bit of disarray. Like Ronaldo looking like he's leaving, then not leaving, then leaving again, and not leaving again. And God knows what's going to happen there. Like, I just do not feel United are in a position to fight for higher places at the moment, depending on how fast they get their shit together from the start of the season. They could end up being in that situation by the end of the season, or provided if they could get to that point where they're solid enough that they're in the top 7 by January, and then they can push on that in January to get like a 5th or a 4th, and be fighting like for the positions that Spurs, Arsenal were fighting for at the end of last season, then they could be doing that. But I don't think they will. And talking about Arsenal, we're going to stick with 5th, which is, I genuinely think, a record high for me predicting where Arsenal are going to finish in a Premier League season. Because I don't tend to like predicting Arsenal, because I tend to let my bias take over. But Arsenal, solid end to last season. They've still got a solid thing. Oh, mid-camera. They've got solid end to last season, solid thing. They've had a decent transfer window, to be fair. I don't think that the signing of Gary Jesus will be as brilliant as everyone seems to think it will be. Obviously, he's done quite well in pre-season, but again, pre-season is absolutely rubbish for telling how your team is. So you just don't know. But yeah, I don't think Gabriel Jesus will do as well as everyone thinks he will. If he does, fair play to him. I saw that when I saw that Zinchenko had gone to Arsenal, that really surprised me, because I thought City would want to keep him. But obviously, he's a decent left back. But do Arsenal need a left back? If you're thinking of playing Zinchenko in midfield, like, can he play midfield consistently and well? Is the question for that? Like, or if you're thinking about moving Tierney further forward, again, where are you going to put him? Because I wouldn't have said he could play midfield, but you can't really play him on the wing, because that's one of the few positions Arsenal actually have some decent players in. But yeah, I think Arsenal will do quite well this season. I don't think they will get the Champions League spot, for the pure reason that I think the 4 teams that I have left are just that step above. But I think Arsenal will be pushing but depending on what they do in the rest of this transfer window, depending on what they do in January, they could be there by the end of the season. My next position is actually going to be Chelsea. With Chelsea, it's a strange one, because obviously they tailed off at the end of last season, but that was partially down to the owners changing, or not changing for what it was at the time, where they were just waiting for the new owner. Then they've got the new owner now. New owner has put some money in. They've made some signings. They've obviously signed Koulibaly, Sterling. I can't name any others off the top of my head. It's looking like they've signed what's his name? Fofana, I think it was, is the one that came out this morning. Then obviously talks, as I said earlier, about De Jong going to Chelsea, which is a strange one. But I think Chelsea are one of those teams that I always feel have too many players for their own good. Like, because like with a City and a Liverpool, they rotate their team, but like they will have like, so like let's say they have 3 players in a position, or like let's say they have like 5 forwards, or like actually Liverpool have like 4 forwards, and they play the main 3, and then Jota will come in a bit, and then go out a bit, and then they'll swap them round. Man City again have loads of forwards, and they just kind of interchange where they play, who plays. But again, they've only got about 5 of them. They haven't got like as Chelsea run into the situation. But if you look at their midfielders, they've got a full 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 according to FootMob, and all 15 of those are players I would say should be playing first team football. And that's just like, and if you have that many players, you could not be giving all of them game time throughout the season. And like, if you look at forward wise, Chelsea do not have, just do not have an out and out striker really. Kai Havertz is their out and out striker, which isn't great. Like, forward wise, looking at this, obviously you've got Kai Havertz, Werner, Sterling are their main 3 forwards, but like obviously some of those midfielders will come in as forwards, like if the likes of Mason Mount, Ziyech. But like, I feel like they have too many players for their own good, and like obviously from what I've heard, there are a few players that want to leave, like Aspilicueta, Alonso, players like that. But like, I just do not feel. I'm probably going to be really wrong with this because I tend to be really wrong when I say stuff like this. But I just do not feel that Chelsea. I feel like they have too many players and they're just not going to be able to consistently perform. And I feel like that's one of the issues Chelsea tend to fall into the trap of, is they can't consistently perform. Like when they perform, they perform. Like you look at like something I thought was a thing where they were absolutely battering teams, but then their losses, they would pick up stupid losses to like, I can't get any of the stats up, but like I just do not feel Chelsea will be in the position to get any higher than 4th really. I generally think they could finish anywhere in the top 4, but I don't think they'll drop out of the top 4. I just do not feel they'll push on. This way you'll see my bias come through, because in 3rd I've stuck Liverpool. Liverpool's a strange one for me, because Liverpool at the end of last season, or season before last I suppose, everyone was saying, right, and everyone was pitching, you look at Liverpool's prediction, everyone was pitching Liverpool 4th or 3rd. No one was pitching Liverpool 2nd. Like, it was all Chelsea and City were the top 2, then Liverpool and United. To be fair, I didn't. I actually stuck Spurs in 4th. Again, my bias somehow paying off. But like, I just do not think Liverpool can keep up with what they're doing. And they had their season last season. They played every single game possible. With like, yes, they have a very decent rotation in their squad. Like they have very good rotation. Everything's that like, and they do make good they've made good signings. But I just do not feel that Liverpool will. I just don't think that they'll reach the heights that they've reached this season. I will put Spurs in 2nd, but what I will say now, I think those 3 could go literally any way, and I think if I was to predict it without bias, I'd probably actually predict that. But I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going to stick Spurs 2nd. Like obviously Spurs 6 signings this season. Obviously strengthening in key areas. Right wing back needed a new one. Got in Jed Spence. Obviously not already in the calibre, but he's there to grow into the position. Obviously getting on the other wing back, or even Perisic. Obviously nice and very experienced under Antonio Conte, and just experienced in general, which would be quite helpful on that side. You look at midfield. Yves Bissouma making up a 4th midfielder to replace Harry Winks. Obviously, hopefully taking his number if we can get Harry Winks out the door, but at this rate, not looking very hopeful because no one seems to want him. Because everyone actually seems to be checking out his background, and that's the point where clubs say no, I don't want him actually. But like the Spurs squad, obviously with Charlison up front to then help with. So we have 4 forwards to help rotate round. Sort of playing, I suppose, as I mentioned earlier, Jota role that Jota plays at Liverpool. I am now forgetting. Longley left centre back again, replacing Davies or more upgrading on Davies. Kind of just on loan for this season as a make way or just as a what's it called? Like just basically to be there until the end of the season. So then at the start of next season we could get one of the bigger names, like one of your the bigger ones that people want, like the Leipzig bloke. I forgot his name. But him and Bastoni. Obviously Fraser Forster in goal was backup goalie. Obviously solid signing. Obviously Bentancur and Kulusevski came in midway through last season. Obviously really improving the team when they came in. Obviously going out on loan, we got Rodon, and then like just youngsters really. Steven Bergvijn leaving the club. Like not too happy with that in the sense of he was a very good talent, but like you kind of have to get rid of him because he didn't want to be at the club. He wasn't playing. Yes, he probably would actually play more this season, but he wasn't playing. Wanted to leave, so had to let him go really. Anyway, on to who I think will be the title champions. It kind of has to be City, doesn't it? They haven't really lost much. They've lost Zinchenko and Sterling, which to me doesn't really weaken you much, considering the rest of their players they've got. Like they've brought in Calvin Phillips, Haaland, backup goalie in Ortega, and he was a free transfer as well. Obviously, Julian Alvarez came in January, but he's only with them now because they obviously sent it back out on loan. Obviously, like top class forwards going in there. Obviously, Zinchenko, as I say, Zinchenko leaving, but like and Raheem Sterling obviously going, but like haven't really lost too much. And obviously, Gabriel Jesus going to Arsenal as well, but like. Gabriel Jesus didn't really play, and even when he did, I don't think he looked that great. I just don't think he really suited the City play style, really. Obviously, Fernandinho gone as well, long-running captain of the club, but again, I don't think he's going to hinder them too much. Like they've got Haaland up front now, and actually hear a lot of people say, like, as a City, like you're going to get many chances a game. And if you have someone like Haaland that's going to finish about 75% of his chances, or even if he only finishes 25% of his chances, if you're getting 4 or 5 chances a game, you're going to be scoring every game pretty much. So, like, yeah, I think City will easily breeze the title. But again, Liverpool probably could fight it. I'm putting Spurs second, though, for the pure reason of I being somewhat hopeful. And I genuinely think we can do it, because if anyone can put that Spurs side second on the grid, you can tell I'm in F1 mode, can't you? If anyone puts second on the table, it'll be Antonio Conte, really, wouldn't it? Like Antonio Conte, probably one of the best managers in the world, like alongside Pep and Klopp. Like, and then you've got arguably two of the best forwards in the world in Son and Kane, or at least in the Premier League. Like obviously Liverpool as well. We're mentioning Liverpool third. Obviously lost Mane, which I think will be a big loss to them, and I think it'll be a bigger loss than people think. Obviously they've brought in Darwin Núñez, but obviously not really playing the same role. Like certain obviously youngsters. Obviously they've got Diaz, which obviously is quite a nice replacement to just slot in where Mane was before Diaz even arrived. But it does then mean, obviously, with their forwards, it does then mean that they have to play Firmino if Darwin Núñez isn't playing, or Jota isn't playing. Jota's actually injured at the moment, but should be back soon. But I think that will do it for this video, because otherwise I am just going to keep going. But yeah, obviously, just to run you back through it, that's getting relegated. We have Bournemouth, Fulham and Everton, with Leeds, Forest, Brighton, Southampton and Brentford in the bottom half, with Wolves, Crystal Palace, Leicester City, Newcastle United and Aston Villa finishing mid-table. Then West Ham getting 7th, and then United and Arsenal getting 5th and 6th. or 6th and 5th, in the order I said. With obviously either West Ham or United getting the Conference League space, and then either Arsenal and or United, depending on whether, depending on the cups, obviously, will get Europa League, with then Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham getting Champions League, with City also getting it for being the champions of the Premier League. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. You probably won't see another video until I either choose to react to this. I might do World Cup predictions actually. Yeah, I'm not really posting much, as you can probably tell. I'll probably do like an annual video of me predicting the Premier League, just because it doesn't really mean much if you just predict the Premier League to yourself, does it? So I'm going to predict it on YouTube each year. That'll be my annual video. I might, if I'm lucky, do a reaction one to it. But yeah, until I suppose next year, till the end of the season, unless I choose to do a World Cup not doing a watch along. Might do. I probably won't. Unless I choose to do a World Cup predictions, which I might do. Then I guess I'll see you next year. Thanks for watching.